Hello. Well, here I am. I'm at a name I couldn't pass up for a hike. Sorry, I got a little fog in my window there. But it's the Cockroach Creek Greenway Nature Preserve in Hillsborough County, Florida. I'm down by Tampa, happen to be in the area, and I saw this name and I thought to myself, I can't miss this. I don't understand why you would have a place named Cockroach Creek when my lens is able to focus. There we go. There we go. Cockroach Creek Greenway Nature Preserve. It's a small hiking trail. It says 4.5 in a book, so I'll have to go with that. So we'll see. So it's Monday, September 14th. It's 7:30 in the morning, and I happen to be in the area. I decided I'd go take a small little hike. So I'm expecting kind of wet and muddy conditions, as you can tell, near Tampa. This is the closest major city most people would know. And of course, there happened to be and this is the first break in the weather we've had where it's not raining and overcast, although I think today we're going to get the tail end of the system, and it's supposed to rain again all day. Just waiting for my feet to get wet, and there we go. Okay, so I will obviously not have a problem with getting my feet wet again. Unfortunately, the feet are wet, so much for staying dry. What I do, 100 feet into the trail and already my feet are drenched. So we'll see what happens, but figured I need to do a little something. Get out there. I haven't hiked in the last 2-3 weeks. I've been busy doing stuff around my house and personal stuff, and I just haven't had time to get out there. So this came along, and it's a smaller trail. It's only supposed to be about 4 miles. So I looked this trail up online. I found it through a web search, and when I saw the name of the preserve, Cockroach Preserve, I said, I'm gonna try and go there. Wasn't that long of a drive to get here, about 35-40 minutes. So, and I figured I would check it out, see what it has to offer. But it's short, it's only about, I think, 4.5 in the book, but I think it's actually gonna be less. There's actually 2 trails here. I think they're red and blue. If I remember correctly, I'll have to look back on my phone. So, and I do see a red mark here on a tree, so I don't know if that means I'm on the trail or if it's a pole that fell over. And it looks like I'm coming to my first turn in the road here. And this is where the 2 paths, I guess, meet. You gotta figure out, I can't tell what trail is which. So, but I'm gonna go this way, because the other one's just a little loop. So this looks like the way to go. Okay, I guess I'm on the blue trail now because I see blue on the tree here, as you can see in the picture. So I guess I was on the red and now I'm on the blue. I guess this would be nice if it was dry or nicer, but par for the course, I guess. Okay, and there's another blue blaze, so I'm definitely on a blue trail. I guess from the red and the blue. So it looks like I started out on red and now I'm on blue. You know, really odd that there's no real signage or anything describing the trail. Even at the trailhead, I didn't see any map or anything about this trail to know what I'm doing and where I'm doing. Everything I found was online. So, oh, I just saw a deer in the distance. I guess with my talking and trudging through the water, little chance of me surprising it. I just saw the backside of a deer through the trees. So I guess I got a little moisture in the lens with the humidity coming from the car, and it hasn't cleared up yet. So I see everything's out of focus. There we go, a little bit better. Yeah, there was a deer over here, and I guess with my trudging along and stomping through the mud, it must have scared it. I just saw a tan streak going through the trees. So it kind of opened up into this like a little prairie area, and you got some pines. There's evidence of a fire in the past here. You can see a lot of the wood is scorched, and there was some deep spots here almost up to my knee that I went through. So, but if you have any little kids, I'm sure they would love to come here and stomp through this trail on the mud. If they're real little, you might need to be careful of them in a couple of spots. It would probably be, definitely waist to chest high on them so far. But other than that, it's a pretty flat trail. So it's obviously during the drier weather, this wouldn't be too bad. There's another blue blaze, so I know I'm on the trail still. It's really a wide path. I mean, obviously they've been bringing some vehicles back here. I could see the tire ruts and marks. I'm assuming it's for trail maintenance, or unless there's access to another property back here. But bugs are not a problem right now. There's a little bit of a breeze. So it's in the 80s, I imagine, mid to low 80s. And like I said, it's been raining for the past probably 3 to 4 days with the system moving through. So I don't know if that's impacting the bugs here. But there's another blue marker, so I know I'm on the trail. And keep going. So it looks like this section leads to another section of the trail coming up. That's kind of like almost like a box, I guess, or a rectangle. So it's like a loop, but in a rectangle form. And then I believe I have to come back this way to make it back to the trailhead. So I don't think it's going to be 4.5 miles looking at the map. Maybe that's both trails together, but I'm not really sure. So, well, we'll take it and see where it goes. Should be a good one. I'll check back in a little bit. There's a boar in the brush over there. Could just see him walking away. Kind of startled him and he startled me. But unfortunately, I can't get a good, clean picture of him. That's definitely the closest I've come to a pig in the wild while hiking down here. Usually you just hear them in the brush. You don't get to actually see them. They're pretty skittish. I saw a boar back there, or a wild pig. Couldn't tell if it's a male or female. It was dark, and just could see it through the brush. But it was a little hard to make out. You can see the area here was opened up into this beautiful open area with obviously some nice views. It's flat, but it's like a prairie, or the pines have kind of dying out here. And there's back on the trail, and you can see it's obviously with the rain that they've had here in the last couple of days, it's quite wet and flooded. Okay, I keep forgetting to turn the mic on. I've come out to the, coming up to what is the farthest part of the trail from the trailhead. And I kind of described it as this long portion. It's a portion moving out, almost like a flag shape, I guess, with a flagpole being what I'm on now. And then there's like a rectangle off to the right that loops back on itself and goes back to where the pole sort of be, if you can understand that. So this is coming up on what is the farthest part of the trail from the trailhead. It's intermixed with some water. There's some parts that are totally underwater, but there's some, as you can tell, you can see there's some drier portions here. But it's really opened up into this area here where the trees are interspaced more and you have, open views. It's amazing. You're in an area where there's residences and everything, and then you walk over here, and it's very, very quiet. There's some hum in the background. I'm assuming it's highway noise, but other than that, it's very, very quiet. When I stand still, it's all you hear is the forest around you. Occasionally I hear, trees moving or breaking, so I don't know if there's some animals in the distance. But I have seen, like I said, I know there's deer and there's hog here, obviously. So, and the tracks are all over the place. So who knows what else is here. But we'll keep walking down the trail. It's getting flooded here a little bit more. And you can see obviously water was over here by the ripples on the pathway. But the mosquitoes have come out a little bit more in force, especially if I stop. So I'm going to try and keep moving. But I would imagine that's to be expected. This is definitely more flooded here. It's definitely deeper. It's probably about calf deep where I'm currently at. And this should begin turning to the right as I move along, and then I'll loop into that plain open area, the prairie area, and then head back toward the way I came. But this is pretty deep here. This is almost knee deep that I'm in right now. It's just below my knee, but it should be rising up. Phew. A little worried because I got my cell phone in my pocket, which is just above my knee, and with the splashing, I don't want to get that flooded or wet and ruin my cell phone. But looks like it's going up a little bit here. But this section of the trail is by far the worst so far if you're trying to avoid being flooded. This is very much like the rest of the Everglades and the Ocean to Lakes Trail. Yeah, this is knee deep again. So you can see water running down the trail here where I just came from. It's definitely flowing. So, and I guess this is someone's farm off to the left, so the property probably ends. But you can see quite clearly, this is the water flowing from the trail to where I just came. So that's probably the low spot of the trail. And it's like a big pool. And it was definitely knee deep for me. So maybe even at times a little higher with the splashing. And I'm actually walking back, as you can just see a car pass by in the distance. So this rectangle goes toward the roadway, which leads to the trailhead. So I guess if you really needed to, I don't know if there's a fence. I'm assuming there probably is, but I guess that could be a bailout point if you needed to get out and get on the road, and you can walk back to the trailhead to where your car is. But I'll just head back the way I came, I guess. I'm trying to figure out, I really wish there were a couple of better markings on the trail. There's no signage at all, just the markings. So I don't know if I'm supposed to continue straight or make a right here. The good thing is, ooh, almost lost it there. The good thing is it is on all trails. So there is looks like part of a trail this way, but the main part of the trail is actually supposed to go straight. So I'm assuming it goes to the property line of the road there. I don't know if I want to walk to the road or go across this. I'm thinking this would be more interesting because we're inside the trail and I won't be walking along the road. Obviously this is maintained as well. I just don't know how it's maintained, you know, further up. But it looks like it's been manicured, so I'm gonna stick with it. How nice is this, huh? Nice open area. Got a nice breeze blowing. It's helping, keeping some of the bugs away and keeping me cool with the humidity and the heat that's beginning. Okay, I'll check in a little bit. Okay, I took a trail across that field just because I thought it might be more interesting, that it's not walking along a fence line. But it was pretty nondescript and uneventful. I'm gonna walk up to the road and then come right back down. So, and you can see it's not as well maintained here. I don't know if the grass just grew a little more here or it hasn't been maintained as recently, but it's definitely more overgrown here as well. And walking through that trail across the field was pretty much wet the whole way. Okay, it looks like I'm coming up to the fence line here where the road is. I'll just go across a little bit and then I'll head back. Okay, it started raining again. It's drizzling. So my nice window of good weather has closed. Looks like, although it looks a little clear, so hopefully this is just intermittent. You can see there's raindrops falling. I felt them once or twice before, but it's pretty sustained right now. So I'm making my way back to the trailhead. You can see deer tracks I'm following along here. I guess the deer was trying to stay out of the water as well. So I figure another 1.5 miles or so, I should be at the trailhead. But I'm not going to put my rain stuff on now. I think it's too hot for that. We'll just keep walking. You can see there's a deer up on the trail. He's looking at me. I'm looking at him. Trying not to scare him. It's hard to believe considering the amount of noise I make when I walk. But I haven't scared him off. But there are tons of deer sign everywhere here, and obviously some of them since this morning or even when I walk by. So there's a lot of deer in this area because I could easily see the deer sign in the trail, and with the amount of rain, everything is kind of washed over and washed out. There's no way to kind of stalk them and sneak up on them without making some noise in this mud. Not to mention my talking, I'm sure he sees me. Times like this, I wish I brought my zoom lens. Everything is just, there's so much humidity. My glasses are fogged, the lenses is fogged. But fortunately for him, I mean him no harm. His ears are up there, he's turning his head. I don't think he's going to wait much longer. I think he's going to move on. There he goes. Oh, there's a whole bunch of them. There was like 2 or 3 more. I didn't even see them. Wow. Nice. We'll go up the trail. I guess he had a bunch of friends that I didn't even see until he decided to run. I can see my footprints from where I came in the mud. But maybe we'll see them again further up the trail. Coming up on where him and his friends were. See if I could see their sign. He was standing right over here. But his friends were off to the right, where you see me. Yeah, I don't know where they were exactly. I only saw their tails as they turned to run. I saw at least 2 other ones. So, but that was a pleasant surprise. Yep, another mile done. Says I've walked 3 miles already. I think I'm going to stay up on this high spot. Try not to walk where the mud is soft, which helps erode the trail, which makes it even more muddy in the future, even though that's very commonly done. But this is all mud. Some of it's a little firm, so I don't think I'm destroying it too much, but when it gets too soft, I just walk right down the trail, which is what you're supposed to do. So at least that rain seems to have stopped. I don't feel too much drizzling coming on. It's very light now. So I'm hoping I was really worried that it would start raining heavier. Obviously the trail's already flooded. It's not gonna make much of a difference for me, just get worse. But I'd have to put my raincoat on, which with the heat and the humidity, I just figured that would be really bad. It'd be like wearing a plastic bag. Most of the time I almost prefer to get wet than have to wear that thing. It's just too hot. Okay, we're making our way back to the trailhead. I just saw an owl, I think. I'm trying to find where it went. I thought it went in one of these trees. There he is. Ah, isn't that beautiful? Guess I finally got too close. So I made it back to the main pathway in from the trailhead, and I'm making my way back to the trailhead. And you can see it in the distance there, about another 1/10 or maybe 2/10 of a mile ahead. I'm not surprised that I'm the only person that was on the trail today. I'm in the parking lot. It's pretty small, but you probably have enough room for several cars here. And my vehicle is the only one that's here. You can see in the background, it's a little fuzzy. It's not focusing on it, but there's nobody else here. So I was very pleasantly surprised with the amount of wildlife I saw while on this trail. I saw that pig. That was plain to see. I mean, I just couldn't get a good shot of him because of all the shrubbery, and I'm a little slow. The camera started up, and by that time he had moved off. The deer, I saw 4 deer total. That one, which I'm really hoping that video came out, was up close and in plain view out in the open. So I'm really hoping that came out. I just saw that. I'm assuming it's some type of hawk. Obviously, there's numerous other birds in this area, and this is known as a birding type trail. So I guess you could come here for that if you're interested in that. So not really digging this messenger type bag. I just happen to have this available. I really didn't need anything. I have a bottle of water in here and a first aid kit. That's really it. And just a place to put my Garmin, which is falling back here. I just strapped it on because I wanted to take it with me because I would be by myself, and you never know. I mean, I'm not in a really remote area, but you never know what's happening. You can hike and fall and get injured or hurt, and you need help, and you're not able to get to the roadway or the trail. And no one else is obviously here. No, I didn't see any other sign of any other hikers, and you would have seen it because the mud is quite. Over the last days of rain, there's no tracks at all except recent tracks. So, but there's numerous deer sign in this area, so I would expect that you'd be able to see a lot more deer if you were interested in doing that. You come here. But I'm gonna go change now. I'm gonna get my wet shoes and socks off, drive back to a relative's house, which is where I'm staying here. I'm not gonna bring my wet shoes and socks in their house. I don't think they would appreciate that. I'll leave them in the vehicle. Hopefully I'll dry out a little bit on the drive back to their residence, and I'll leave this area behind. So, I would recommend the trail. It's not bad. It's not hard to do. Definitely bring the bug spray, especially during the drier, warmer months. You would have to definitely deal with bugs. They're starting to come out now as I stand here. Every time I stopped in the beginning when I first got here, they weren't out, but they've been coming out now. And prepare for wet trail. Definitely wear stuff you don't mind getting wet or dirty, and prepare to be trouncing in some mud. Obviously, during drier seasons, I'm assuming that trail is not wet or as wet. But with the recent rain here over the last couple of days, and it's supposed to rain the next 2 to 3 days also, I imagine this trail is going to be quite flooded.
especially in the farther parts. There's an area, I call it like a pit or a pool. It's obviously the low spot of the trail, and it was like a swimming pool almost. It definitely was above my knee. I actually got worried because I had my keys in the pocket. I actually pulled them out, and that pocket did get wet, so I'm glad I did. Other than that, you know, a nice easy trail, not challenging or hard. I think people of most abilities could do it, and if you have children, I think they would love to come out here and trounce in the mud and splash around. If you don't mind them getting dirty, and then maybe get back, wipe them off, and get them back in the car and go home to a nice warm bath or shower, which is what I'm looking forward to. So that's going to be it for this one. Thank you for joining me. If you like what I'm doing on the trail, please consider giving me a thumbs up or a like. Consider leaving a comment below. I enjoy comments. Lets me know that someone out there is watching and is interested in what I'm doing. And also consider subscribing to the channel, or tell someone else about the channel so that they can watch it as well, so it'll continue growing. Thank you so much, as always, for taking time out of your day to watch what I'm doing. I appreciate it. Till we meet again. At the interestingly named Cockroach nature area or whatever.